everyone, how are you doing? I don't know about you, but this week I have completely lost motivation for online school. It's actually kind of scary. I'm usually someone who does quite a lot of schoolwork, but this week, no, it's all gone out the window. You know how in my last video I work from my dad's office and I used to go to Stephen's room? Yeah, that's not happening anymore. I wake up, do my tutorial in bed, and then I start my lessons in my room, and it's really not productive. Having said this though, I recognised a few days ago that I really needed to change this because I was getting no work done, and this year is kind of important for me. So I've started working in my sister's bedroom. You're probably like, oh no, Tallulah, that's the same thing. Well, it's not. I don't know why, but I'm much more productive even though it's 10 meters down the corridor. It's just because I don't have the distractions of my bed and everything. Anyway, life update over. I'm now going to get onto what this video is actually about. And today I'm doing a boarding school Q&A. Just to let you know before we start, these answers are kind of made for my school, but I'm sure they'll apply to most schools because they're pretty much the same. Right, first question is, what's it like sharing a room? So in the first 2 years, you have to share with 4 people, which is kind of intense, just because you don't get that much space or privacy and it's quite loud, guaranteed one person in your room's gonna snore. So the next 2 years, it's just 2 people and it's actually really nice. You get really good friends with the person. I don't know, I quite like it. And then in the final year, you get a room by yourself, which is actually really nice because it means you can do anything you want at your own timing. That's the one annoying thing about sharing a room. You can't go to bed or wake up when you want because there are other people, so it's kind of antisocial. I'm actually a nightmare to share them with because I don't let the windows be open while I'm sleeping. Just 'cause I don't know why, I'm scared of intruders, I'm scared of bugs, I don't like the noise, I hate having the windows open when I'm sleeping. They're fine open all day, but when I'm sleeping, no. So yeah, I'm kind of a nightmare, but other people are quite nice to share with. Anyway, moving on. Do you miss your home and your parents? Well, I've boarded since I was 7, so I guess when I was 7, I did really miss home and my parents, but then I kind of got used to it. But most people start boarding in year 9, and I think they miss their parents for, yeah, a couple of weeks, but then I think you get used to it. You're kind of busy the whole time, so you get distracted, so it's not too bad. A lot of people miss their dogs though, which I've never really got. Like, I do love my dogs, but I never miss them. Do people get along? I think you're kind of forced to get along because you're around each other the whole time. Obviously, you're gonna have petty arguments, but in the end, you all have to make up because otherwise it just makes your time at school really, really hard. Do you ever reconsider going to boarding school? No, definitely not. I really like it. Actually, over lockdown, I decided I quite like being at home, but then I don't think I'd like being at home, going to school and then coming back, if you know what I mean. Long story short, no, I don't reconsider going to boarding school. What is the best thing about boarding? I think as someone who gets really bored really easily and likes being around their friends, definitely being around your friends the whole time. I've reached the pinnacle of my boredom. It's really awful. The highlight of my week, actually the highlight of my day is going to the village shop and buying a new chocolate. I'm testing out all the chocolates in my village shop. I might do a new thing where I try them all out and I tell you my favourite chocolate of the week. This week has definitely got to be salted caramel galaxy truffles. They are delicious. Actually, this is your sign. You need to go and buy them and comment what you think of it because they're so nice. Anyway, moving on. Are you allowed to leave? No. Well, I mean, obviously you're allowed to go home for exeats, which are home weekends, half term and the school holidays, but other than that, we have to stay at school. My school's quite strict with that and we don't actually have many exeats. I'd say I'm kind of at school for 6 weeks and then come home. Obviously that gets a bit hard because you're not seeing your family, but before coronavirus, your parents can come up for matches or take you out for lunch and stuff like that. So it's not too bad, but I guess that is probably the hardest thing about boarding school. You're not really allowed to leave. Can you go to boarding school if your parents live abroad? Yeah, 100%. There are loads of international students at my school. I'm pretty sure you have to have a guardian in the UK, and if you've got that, it's fine. I mean, I don't really know much about it because obviously I don't have that. So I don't know, but long story short, you are allowed to go to boarding school if your parents live abroad. Next, are pets allowed? No, they're not. Hang on the topic of pets, I'm gonna go and get one of them. I told you last video that I was gonna show you my pets, so I guess I'm gonna show you one of the dogs. I'm pretty sure you've seen her before, but you know, it's fine, we'll get her. Right, I've got the dog. She's the only one allowed upstairs, that's why I brought her. We've actually got 2 other dogs, which are spaniels. I'll show you them another time. This is Pixie. I'm pretty sure I've shown you her. Why are you looking so awkward? She's kind of annoying me at the moment. Her breath stinks. Like, my sister's currently making her these dog breath freshener treats. It's kind of weird. For these treats, I had to go yesterday to the village garden centre to buy her, oh, you're getting kind of heavy, an aloe vera plant for this. I actually fear for what the people in the village think of me. I walk through the village holding an aloe vera plant. All for you and your disgusting breath. Anyway, you can go back to Tabitha. Bye. Right, sorry for getting sidetracked. What is the food like? I say this every video and I'll say it again. The food is pretty disgusting. I mean, some of it's nice. The fajitas and the cinnamon swirls are next level. But in general, I really don't like the school food. Are you allowed takeaways? I think it depends. My house, we're allowed them, but some houses you're not allowed them until sixth form. And I guess some schools aren't even near towns. So I think it depends what school and what house. Next is, How do boarding schools work? I thought you lived in the same building you learnt in. No, well, at my school, it's definitely not like that. We've got loads of boarding houses, and then the lesson blocks, well, where we do all our learning, is all kind of mixed around the town. I think at most schools, you have your boarding houses and then buildings where you do lessons. What is CCF? I get asked this question the whole time. CCF stands for Combined Cadet Force, and it consists of the Army, Navy, and RAF section. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a Wednesday afternoon activity where you kind of do training for the Army or Navy, but like school level. It's not proper army training. Some places call it cadets, but we call it CCF. Are relationships allowed? Yeah, relationships are allowed. There are visitors' rooms, so if you're in a relationship with someone, then you can go to each other's houses, which is quite nice, but you're not allowed in each other's bedrooms, if you get what I mean. But I think that's kind of understandable. I don't know many schools where you are allowed. And yeah, boys and girls' houses are separate. I don't know if that's the same with all schools, but I think most boarding schools have boys and girls' houses separate. What do you do on the weekends? So on Saturday, we've got lessons, and then in the afternoon, we either play sport or have matches. And then on Saturday nights, pre-coronavirus, we would go to this place called Club, which I'm pretty sure I've told you about this before, but it's this building. So sixth form have their own, then fourth and fifth form have another room, and you play music and there are lights. It's quite fun, I guess. Probably thinking, what happens to third form? Well, there's this little street outside Club, and third form go to the road. It's called the road, and they just stand there and talk. It's a bit of a weird concept, but I did love it when I was younger. And then on Sunday, we've got chapel in the morning. You kind of just got the rest of the day to do what you want. Some people catch up on work, some people go out with their friends. I don't really know. Some people just sit in and watch TV all day. It depends what you want to do. Right, the next question is there initiation? Not really. Well, we've got something at my school called the names test. So when you're in third form, you've just got to remember all of the upper six names and then go into a room with them, and you will get dressed up and say their names. It's kind of scary, but it's also fun at the same time. So I wouldn't say there's proper, like, harsh initiation. So the next question is, what sports do you play at your school, and is it compulsory? So the girls' main sports are hockey, netball, and tennis, but you also do rugby and football. I play football. How did I forget that? And boys is, let me have a think. Rugby, hockey, football, tennis. Yeah, it's literally the same. We can also do swimming, athletics, squash, fives, rounders. You can literally play any sport at my school apart from lacrosse. And yeah, sport is compulsory, so I guess it kind of sucks for people who don't like it or are lazy. I really like sport, so I don't mind. Yeah, we have to play it 3 times a week, so I guess people who don't like sport, it kind of sucks for them. Next is, how did you choose which school to go to? I didn't choose, my parents chose. I think it was just from magazines and reputation. They chose for my eldest sister, and then we've all just kind of followed in her footsteps. I think most people though, if they want to be closer to home, they obviously look around the ones closest to them. But others, yeah, just word of mouth, I think. I don't know. I didn't choose, my parents did, ask them. The next question is it easy to skive? I'd say it's a lot easier when you're at day school and you can just persuade your parents, because we've got to persuade a matron who's not our mum or dad, so it's quite a bit harder. And yeah, I don't know, it depends on the matron, I guess. Most of them are pretty nice, and if they think you really need the day off school, then they'll give it to you. But if you're properly skiving, you don't get off school that much. Finally, this is the last question, is what happens to your phone? The first 3 weeks it gets taken away, and then for the first 2 years after that, you have it for like 1 or 2 hours a day. You've got to hand it in during lessons, hand it in during prep, and hand it in during sleeping. Well, when you go to sleep. I'm pretty sure third form now have to have Nokia bricks. That sounds awful. In the next year, you've just got to hand it in when you go to sleep. And then in sixth form, you get your phone the whole time. Right, well, that's all the questions answered. I hope it was helpful. I am so hungry. I genuinely have never been more excited to make breakfast in my life. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea saving it till afterwards to have breakfast. And I am now absolutely starving. So I'm going to go make breakfast. I'll see you soon.